Are you tired of trying to force yourself to be positive or rewrite your hated self and emotions you want to erase? The more you deny your negative self, the more those emotions try to dominate you with even greater intensity. Based on the book Power of Ego, a 20-time bestseller in 5 countries, we present the third part of our series. Our team, certified by Ivy League institutions like Harvard and Yale, will now explain this profound healing. Today's theme is Every Emotion Has Love, a prescription that will fundamentally change the course of your life. Every day, we are tossed about by anger, anxiety, and lethargy, often viewing these feelings as evil or wrong. However, the perspective of PCM, the Parts Connection Method, which we propose at Post IQ Lab, is entirely different. Even the most seemingly ugly emotions born within you have a pure love at their core, wanting only to protect you. By the end of this video, you will embrace what you once thought were your flaws as your most beloved guardians. From a young age, we are taught that you must not get angry, and you must always remain calm and peaceful. Furthermore, when we encounter teachings like those of Eckhart Tolle, we tend to think of anger as ego inflation. We might view anger merely as a manifestation of unconsciousness or fuel for the pain body and try to eliminate it. Certainly, anger that has spiraled out of control has the destructive power to hurt others and burn yourself out. However, if we discard anger as unnecessary, we risk losing our own sense of dignity and personal boundaries. From the PCM perspective, the emotion of anger is a tough bodyguard living inside your internal system. Imagine if a burglar entered your home. Could you protect yourself by simply smiling and watching them enter? In that moment, the energy that rises up to shout stop or get out is the true essence of your anger. Anger has a clear positive intent. It seeks to protect you from unfair treatment and to assert your rights. When someone tries to steal your time or deny your values, the anger part sounds a necessary alarm for you. If you fire this bodyguard, you would become like a house without boundaries, vulnerable to anyone's intrusion. Anyone could walk in with dirty shoes, leading to a state where you are exploited as a people pleaser or doormat. Suppressed anger does not disappear. It goes underground and eventually appears in distorted forms like resentment. Or it may transform into depression, which constantly attacks you and drains your very life force. As Tolle noted, being taken over by anger should be avoided, but that does not mean the anger itself must be erased. The PCM approach is not to treat the anger part as an enemy, but first to welcome it with respect and curiosity. The next time you feel irritation, before trying to suppress it with a breath, try saying thank you to it. Ask gently, "Thank you for coming. What part of me are you trying to protect right now with this feeling?" Then the anger part may begin to speak. "That boss's attitude was disrespectful. You deserve to be treated better." When you hear that voice, you will realize that at the core of anger is a poignant love for yourself. As trust is built with the anger parts, they evolve from a troublemaker into a reliable and wise guardian. They provide the strength to say no when necessary and give you constructive energy to change unfair situations. The goal we should aim for is not a life without anger, but a dignified life with anger as your ally. Next, let us reveal the true nature of anxiety, one of the emotions that most intensely erodes our hearts. These are thoughts like, "What if I fail? I'm worried about money," or "It's all over if I get sick." In Tolle-style teachings, anxiety is escape to the future caused by a lack of being in the now. It is true that worrying about a future that hasn't happened yet is not a wise way to spend your present peace. However, rushing to let go of fear also creates new suffering that corners you further into a mental trap. This is because the part in charge of anxiety is your risk manager, dedicated to keeping you alive. Looking back at evolutionary history, those who were optimistic when hearing a rustle in the grass were eaten by predators. The ancestors who survived were those who felt it might be a lion and prepared for the worst-case scenario. We are all descendants of those cautious and anxious ancestors and have inherited their survival instincts. The part repeating anxious thoughts works desperately not to hurt you, but to ensure your continued safety. They are highly responsible beings, creating vast checklists and trying to crush every possible risk they see. Commanding them to not worry is like telling a brilliant employee to stop doing their job for the company. They will react by saying, "I can't be that irresponsible," making the voice of anxiety even louder than before. This is the true nature of the phenomenon where anxiety increases when you try to relax or meditate. The key to reconciling with the anxiety part is to acknowledge their hard work and make them feel safe. When future anxiety attacks, don't try to cancel it, but imagine inviting that part into a meeting room. Then, as the self, listen to what they have to say as a risk manager, patiently and until the very end. Ask, what are you most afraid will happen, and how do you think we can be safer right now? After listening without denial, express gratitude. Thank you for your detailed and thorough analysis. Then reassure them, I will think of a plan for the risks you've shown me, so it's okay to rest now. When the anxiety part trusts the self, they change from a panicked prophet into a calm and wise strategist. Feeling anxiety is not a weakness. It is proof that you value your life so deeply that you want to protect it. When you can hold the hand of the anxiety part and say, let's prepare together, fear turns into survival wisdom. Furthermore, let us consider lethargy and depression, which many people suffer from in modern society. It is that heavy feeling of, I don't want to do anything, I can't get out of bed, or I have no value. We often view this as laziness or self-indulgence and scold ourselves severely for feeling this way. Even in spiritual contexts, it is sometimes avoided as a low vibration state where energy has dropped. However, from the perspective of PCM and polyvagal theory, lethargy is never a state of mere laziness. It is a state where the emergency shutdown function is working to prevent the entire system from collapsing. Just as a computer force quits when it's about to overheat, your heart is trying to protect itself from damage. When a wild animal is caught and can neither flee nor fight, it freezes its body and plays dead. This is the ultimate survival instinct that numbs pain and minimizes energy consumption to survive a crisis. Your lethargic part is performing exactly the same dedicated and protective activity for you right now. Have you been trying too hard to meet someone's expectations, pushing beyond your capacity for too long? Were you trying to keep standing with a forced smile while exposed to unbearable sadness or terror? At the moment the manager and firefighter parts overexerted and your energy was about to hit rock bottom, the lethargic part tripped the breaker, thinking, if we move any more, we'll break. I have to make us rest. Their positive intent is maintenance of life through forced rest and blocking of unbearable pain. When in this state, the worst thing you can do is scold yourself and try to force yourself to move. That is like commanding someone with a broken bone to run, which becomes new violence to the part. The more you try to force movement, the more the lethargic part judges it as still dangerous and gets heavier. Surrender, as taught by Cole, is extremely effective here, but it is different from mere giving up. It is an active process of accepting the state of being unable to move as it is, without any resistance. In PCM, we first imagine the heavy feeling of the lethargic part as a protective blanket around us. Tell them, "Thank you for becoming so heavy to protect me and make me rest. I appreciate your work." When you give permission to rest and affirm their function, the part feels a deep sense of surprise and relief. When you stop blaming yourself, paradoxically, the recovery of energy begins to start quietly and naturally. Without winter, there is no budding of spring. Lethargy is an important winter time in your life cycle. Loving the lethargic part is nothing less than loving the rhythm of your own life and its seasons. So far, we have looked in detail at the love behind emotions like anger, anxiety, and lethargy. The most important philosophy of PCM that integrates these is no bad parts. There are no bad parts. This is not mere sugarcoating or words of comfort, but an objective truth in human psychological structure. Even actions that seem destructive on the surface intend some form of protection within the internal system. The biggest reason we cannot love ourselves is that we believe there are parts that should not exist in us. These are beliefs like, my jealousy is ugly, my weakness is pathetic, or my greed is filthy. However, if you discard these as mere ego, you will remain eternally divided and fragmented within yourself. Parts that are cut off and exiled to the basement will transform into monsters and eventually seek revenge. True healing is recognizing all aspects of yourself and bringing them to one table. This is wholeness. Parts with saint-like compassion and parts with demon-like coldness are all members of your big family. Even a part wearing a demon-like mask will reveal a deeply hurt child once that mask is gently removed. Loving yourself is not just loving your smiling reflection, but loving the shadow parts of yourself as well. It is saying, you can be here too, to the self that can't sleep with anxiety or is driven mad with jealousy. The practice of PCM begins with this generous heart that accepts your own inner diversity and pain. For example, jealousy is a transformation of your original passion or power to desire something great. Vanity is merely a distorted form of the pure wish to be acknowledged and loved by those around you. At the center of everything that seems evil, there is always a seed of good that has not yet bloomed. By finding that seed and shining the light of the self on it, the part returns to its original, beautiful form. The futile journey of trying to defeat the ego as an enemy should end completely after watching this video. From now on, a journey of understanding and embracing the clumsy and beloved friends called ego begins. When you reconcile with the parts you disliked, you will find it surprisingly easier to deal with people you dislike. The peace of the world begins with the reconciliation with the one and only you inside your own heart. It is a new way of living, not as a victim tossed by emotions, nor as a dictator suppressing them. It is a way of living as a compassionate leader who listens to the voices of every single part. When anger arises, say, "Thank you for protecting me." And when anxiety arises, answer, "Let's prepare." When you become lethargic, stay close and say, "Let's rest well." And when sad, embrace and say, "Let's cry." By doing so, the scattered parts become one team and change into your most powerful allies for life. This is the essence of PCM, which has evolved Toll's presence into something more human and warm. The stillness of the now is obtained not by cutting yourself off, but by integrating all of yourself. You no longer need to aim for a perfect human to achieve enlightenment or a sense of peace. Loving your imperfect and contradictory self as a whole is the shortest path to the highest enlightenment. In our next episode, the fourth part, we will learn hanging out, how to specifically interact with these parts. We will teach the magic technique where healing occurs just by being together, without persuasion or expulsion. We will explain in detail the unique self in PCM, which has further evolved the observer perspective. Also, to help you discover your best self alongside AI, we have prepared a special free AI chatbot assessment for you. Based on our unique GSI model, it diagnoses the current state of your intelligence. You can experience a session designed to unlock your latent potential and hidden power. Please check the free assessment and session link in our profile or the description below. Let's go find the answers within you, together with us as your guides. Thank you for watching until the end today. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel.